I can't tell you how long I've been wanting a C63 for, and when this one popped up, I couldn't resist it. But I feel like a C63, whether it's crash damaged or not, it's definitely going to be a money pit. As you guys know, I got this C63 super cheap for, well, obvious reasons. And in the last video, we actually managed to get this thing started. First try, come on. There she goes. This has got to be the best sounding stock exhaust you could ever hear. And that's stock. But right now, the sound of this thing and the fact that it starts up are probably the two best things about this specific car at the moment. As you guys seen in the last video, I had to delete the oil cooler with this sort of silicone hose just to get it running. There's a fair amount of suspension damage to this side. There's of course a lot of damage to the left hand side, including these weird scratches, a smashed window, and all of the airbags have deployed. Actually, apart from the passenger one. But one of the big jobs, and the one thing that I want to crack on today with, is the sump. The engine sump underneath is severely damaged. It's leaking a lot of oil. To get to that sump, we've got to drop the subframe. The subframe is also damaged along with the suspension, so it's going to be a fairly big job. So let's start things off and get this subframe down. Let's do it. So the engine's actually supported by two lower engine mounts on the subframe, and as we're going to be removing the subframe, we're going to need another support, and that's what this red bar's about. The red bar is supported by the chassis of the car, and then we can loop a chain through the top of the engine and mount it to the bar. With that mounted, I could get the car in the air and show you what we're going to be replacing. We've got the front part of the sump here, which has a crack in it, and the rear part of the sump here, which has a big dent in it and is leaking a lot of oil. And also the subframe has got a massive hit on the front here and is also bent, not allowing this suspension arm to go in. So first job is to actually remove the steering rack. The steering rack's connected with two track rod ends, and then there's two nut and bolts which mount it to the subframe. And one final bolt which connects the steering rack to the steering column, which goes inside the car. Then I've just got to disconnect the power steering lines and drain the fluid. Then the steering rack should pop out. And there it is. But I'm not sure this part should have came out as well. But we'll worry about that later. Next up is all the suspension arms. There's a front suspension arm and a rear suspension arm. Both of these can be unbolted from the subframe. There's a few support braces. And then we can move on to the lower engine mounts, which are here. And the bolts for them are actually hidden inside these little cutouts here. And with the lower engine mounts disconnected, I can finally undo the bolts for the subframe and support the subframe with a jack whilst hiring the car up to get it out. Okay, that actually wasn't too bad. The subframe is now off. So here is the subframe, and obviously the engine mounts mount to this, the steering rack mounts to this, and a lot of the suspension arms. Here's the damage right here, and also it looks as if this part of the subframe as well is also bent in, stopping the suspension arm going into it. Now this is also gives us access to the sump at the front, which we need to change that as a crack in it, and here's my sort of little bodge fix that we use to try and get the car started, and also the little sump pan at the back. This part here is the whole massive sump, and fingers crossed, well, hopefully that's not damaged at all, because that saved us a lot of money. We've just had to replace the front and the rear one. Before we do anything with the sump, we've just got to drain the cheap oil that we popped in it just to get it started. So let's drain that out, then we can start getting the sumps off. So with the hard part out of the way, we're on to the easier side of things. Removing the sump bung to remove all the oil from the engine, and then removing the load of Torx bolts, which holds this lower sump to the sort of upper sump. And with that removed, we can see the oil pickup pipe and also the oil return pipe. And finally, we can remove the sort of front side of the sump. Okay, so both sumps are off. The front sump here, which I assume this is some sort of oil pump, which is obviously on the chain, and this sump is to obviously service that part. And then this part of the sump here, where the oil strainer is, which picks up the oil, and then the oil return. And none of these, which is good news, look damaged. All I've got to do is clean up these edges, and we've got some new ones. So this is a second-hand sump, and this sump was from Mercedes. Now, a lot of the parts for the C63 have been really difficult to find, but whatever I've managed to find second-hand, I've bought it, because Mercedes parts are pretty expensive, although they're not far off. the second-hand parts as well, to be honest. So, second-hand part going on the back. I've just spent ages cleaning all the edges up because I've got to make sure that that sits nice and flat because there's no gasket between the sump and then the actual other sump. So this is just going to be used with gasket sealer. Same with the front one. Let's get these on and then hopefully we've got no leaky oils. Let's do it. So I'm just going to run a bead of gasket sealer all the way around both of the sumps, line them back up onto the engine and pop all the bolts back in. And hopefully this should make the engine nice and oil tight. Now this next part seemed like a good idea at the time. Now as you guys know, whether I'm buying a crash damaged car or just a used car, I check it out on Car Vertical first. And I just want to take you back to the report for this C63. So after putting the C63 reg into Car Vertical, I can scroll through the report and I can see that this car was actually written off in November 2020. Now with the car being marked as written off so long ago, it's been left to sit for quite a while. And also check out this. This garage right here in this place with this postcode is actually located near the coast in Scotland. And actually going back to the Car Vertical report, I can see that the ownership has only been changed I think once or twice, meaning that this car in the past couple of years has spent one, a lot of time just sitting there, and two, a lot of time up north in Scotland by the sea. Now don't worry, I do actually get to the point eventually, but it is worth mentioning that Car Vertical works in over 20 different countries and can find things about cars that you may never have found out yourself. Just check out this report. I can actually see the pictures of the car when it was involved in an accident. But ideally what you're looking for is a report like my E46 M3. All green lights at the top to show no mileage fraud, it's not been used as a taxi, and it's never been involved in an accident. So one, I'd like to say a massive thanks to Car Vertical for not only sponsoring the video, but also giving me that extra little bit of information about the cars I buy, and also for allowing me to give you guys a discount code for when you use Car Vertical next on a car that you're about to buy, a car that you've already bought, or maybe your friend's or family's car. But what does this all mean? What is the point that I'm trying to get to here? Now in the last video, some of you guys seen that I'm going to have to remove the subframe, which we've already done, because obviously it's damaged. Now some of the C63 guys have mentioned that when removing the subframe, it's a good time to replace the headers, the exhaust manifold. Now apparently this is a really popular modification for the C63 204, with it being naturally aspirated. These are called long tube headers and they come with downpipes as well. Not only is it going to increase the exhaust flow, it's going to increase the sound and make it sound better, and it's also going to give us more power as well, hopefully. But there's one minor issue with this, and it goes back to that Car Vertical check. Now we know how long this car has sat doing nothing for and how long it's spent in Scotland, which means a lot of the bolts look like this. Now let me show you where the exhaust manifold is. So firstly, these are the lower engine mounts. We're going to have to remove these to access the exhaust manifold, which is right up here. Now you can just see at the bottom here, there is one bolt for it. There's another bolt on that side, and then there's a bolt at the top as well. Not only are those bolts very rusty anyway, they also get extremely hot and then also cool down as well. They go through so many different temperatures, which is not so fun when trying to remove them. Now not only these bolts are going to be super hard to remove, I've got to be really careful when removing them, and there is 16 of those bolts, and if one of them snaps, and depending which one snaps, it could be an engine out job to drill it out. That is why this seemed like a good idea at the time, but now I'm kind of regretting it. Fingers crossed this goes well. So first thing that we need to remove to get out of the way is the lower engine mounts, and also the mounts for the lower engine mounts. There's the engine mount off, and there's the mount off. And that gives us much better access for the manifold. Only downside to getting one off is that you've got to do another one on the other side. And there they are, both engine mounts off. Now with the new manifold, it actually came with a downpipe as well, so we've got to disconnect pretty much half of the exhaust. First place to start it was at the lambda sensors, and they were pretty damn rusted in. I could not get this side out, so I decided to tackle the other side, and the other side snapped my spanner. Hopefully this isn't the start of things snapping. So instead I just disconnected the electrical connectors and decided to tackle that once I've got it off. Next step is the exhaust clamps. Again, the bolts did not look in the best condition, so the angle grinder came straight out. The second bolt just snapped clean off. It is really not looking good for this C63. Now with the exhaust clamps disconnected, I can then move on to the downpipe bolts, which connect it to the manifold. And luckily enough, these came out. And then we have one downpipe, which is pretty damaged from the accident. So it's a good job of replacing it. One more to go. Okay, so here it is. The moment I've been anticipating. Now that I've got the downpipes removed, as well as the center silencer, I didn't realise that was going to come out, but I guess it is as well, so this is going to be extremely loud. Then you can just see in here, we've got much better access now to the manifold at the top, but let's get close in on one of those bolts and you can just, oh, I'm dreading it, I'm dreading it. But those bolts ain't going to undo themselves. We've got 16 to get through. Here we go. So my weapon of choice is the 11mm ratchet spanner. I should be able to use this to get all of the bottom bolts off. And on my first attempt at the first bolt, it seemed to be going well. And there we have the first bolt, which came out with the exhaust stud as well. I slowly but surely worked from the front of the engine to the back of the engine. I eventually got all the bottom bolts out for the manifold. Then it was time to move on to the top bolts of the manifold, which again seemed to be coming out okay. Now a little trick for this, I let them soak in rusties overnight, which seemed to help a lot. And eventually I got one side of the manifold off. There's just one more left to get off. And the 11mm spanner was working wonders, cracking off every nut and bolt inside. And there we have, the second manifold came off and no bolts broken. I did it. I can't believe it. All 16 bolts came out and the manifolds came out and not one single bolt snapped. That just goes to show you sometimes worrying about a problem is more damaging than just having a positive mindset and cracking on and just getting it done. So there we go, the old exhaust manifolds, which are going to be replaced by these bad boys, the nice and shiny long tube headers, along with sort of like the downpipe and the silencer delete. The engine underneath here is looking really bare without the exhaust now, but this is going to look so good. And hopefully sound insane as well. No time to mess around. Let's get the new exhaust headers on. I really want to get some oil in this, service it, and I really want to get this started to see what it sounds like. So up we go with the long tube headers. These were actually a little bit easier to install than the stock ones, just because you can fit a spanner in between the gaps of the exhaust. It is a super tight fit, but it definitely looks the part. With the headers on, next up is the downpipes and pretty much the rest of the exhaust. You go before me. You've seen my darkest night and you weren't scared. And there you can see it's not really a full exhaust system, it's half of one, but it should make a huge difference. The spirit goes before me as you light my way. Okay, so now we've got the exhaust on and it is looking so good. This is going to be so loud. Now, I would love to start it now, but one, we've got no oil in it, and two, there is no lower engine mounts. The only thing that's holding the engine to be steady is that red bar. So I think we need to be putting the new subframe arm along with all the engine mounts and the steering rack and everything back together before we can start this thing. I'm going to start cracking on with it. So it's back on with the lower engine mounts. And here is the new subframe, well, the brand new second-hand subframe that I got off eBay for about 150 quid, which I didn't think was too bad. And with help from Hannah, we just got to guide this thing up onto the engine and line all the bolts and the engine mounts onto it. Why should I be ashamed if you are for me? Within my worst mistake, you still care. Next up is the steering rack. I'm not going to connect this up fully, I'm just going to get the hydraulic lines onto it, just so nothing leaks when we start the engine. Okay, so everything's on to an extent. The steering rack isn't connected. There's still some bolts to do on the subframe, but it should be sort of oil tight at the minute. So all the power steering pipes are connected to the power steering rack and the sump side and everything like that. So we should be good to whack some oil in here, whack a new oil filter in there, and then get it started for the first time since the downpipes and the manifolds. I understand it's not the most clever of ideas I've had, because if I put fresh oil and an oil filter in, I've still got to replace this oil cooler. Of course, all the rad pack as well. And we're going to lose a fair amount of oil from actually disconnecting this, but I just really want to get it started and hear what it sounds like with that manifold on. And plus, we could probably salvage the oil that comes out of that pipe when we replace it. Okay, I'm just checking one last time for any leaks. Now we've got some oil in there, but we are looking all good, fingers crossed, from the sump that we replaced and that sump that we replaced as well. I think I may need to pop some power steering fluid in because that all went out when we moved these lines, but we should be all good to start this thing in a second. Okay, the power is connected. I don't think you guys realise how excited I am to actually hear this thing now with those headers on and with the downpipes. This is, in my opinion, one of the best sounding cars that comes out from factory with the standard exhaust system on. But now we've made some modifications to it. We don't even have a full exhaust system. We've got half of one. This is going to sound so good. Hannah is going to do the honours and we're going to go to where the action happens, right at the back. If you can get in.
Get in. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Okay, let's do it. Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh my god! I was running a bit. Okay, Hannah got scared and turned it off. We're going again. I actually bombed myself as well, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, go again. Okay, we're going to let it warm up for a tiny bit. The radiator does hold coolant, and then we're going to give it a few revs. We're ready? A few revs. Oh, Jesus, that is so loud. Go a bit more. That is so good. Oh, my ears. My ears. Okay, that is absolutely ridiculous. That is so loud, and there's not even a full exhaust system on there already. Verdict, Hannah? Verdict?
Shocking.
Shocking? I think the neighbours are going to hate us. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. We've obviously got a load more to get on with this C63, but if you're enjoying the build, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.